Hi Fabulous, so today's episode is called Oh Dear Sweet Girl, No. And it's a bit of a rant really, because when I heard what I heard, I instantly thought, oh dear sweet girl, no, don't say that to humans. And if you listen to this podcast episode, hopefully I will help you avoid the mistake people may have made from what I heard, if they heard it too. So before I tell you what made me go, oh dear God, in my car, I just wanted to say, I never know how long my episodes will be. Some might be 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and some around the hour mark, or maybe a little bit more. So depending on the level of content and the information that flows through me, I never know how long they're going to take. And that's why I call it flows through me. They just come through me out of nowhere. Something inspires me and I prep them all and I never know how long it's going to take. So with that in mind, it's just a suggestion. If it's a long one and you feel you can't, and you look at it and think, I can't commit to that and commit that time, maybe instead of losing out on some gold, please feel free to pop in some earbuds and do what I do with my podcast listening and dip in and out while I'm on commutes, shopping and even cleaning, etc. And it also makes the tasks more bearable, those ones that we can't deny we have to do. So with that out of the way, let's get to it. So talking of commuting, I was about to drive somewhere. It was at night, it was freezing cold, and my audiobook I was listening to, Big Money Energy by Ryan Serhant, and it was about to end and not last the journey. And the Amanda Francis podcast series I'd been listening to had jumped to the latest episode for some reason, and I'd already finished that. So I just wanted to get home and listen to something on the way, not faff around looking for a new book or a new go back to the podcast sequence and find out where I'd left off. I tapped on something that was suggested, obviously from my previous listening, that I liked the title of, and it started to play. So I started the engine and I went on my way. As I listened to what sounded like a very young girl talking about some obstacles in her life that had actually turned out to make things even better. Funny how things like that happen. Things seem to have to break down sometimes to build them up even better. Then they talk about a commitment to their listeners despite unforeseen circumstances. So they explain that they'd created this commitment, that they would always do this podcast on a certain day in this certain amount of time. So she started to talk about people struggling. So she started to talk about how people struggle so long and are not manifesting what they want because they are hustling and not flowing with the universe. And how she knows from experience because that's what she did. And I thought, I completely related to her there. And I thought, yeah, you're singing my song, sister. Then she said something that turned me off completely. And I thought, no. Bless you. I've been there too. But now I'm telling humans it doesn't have to be that way. Age, hey? It gives you the opportunity to go through different levels of awareness. And like I said, I've been there where she is, but I'm at a different level now. And as they probably will themselves throughout their lifetime. Just as I was thinking about what I was going to say today to save the people from following the advice I heard, I actually had a little flashback to something else they said. It was about their commitment to their listeners and their show despite challenges. And yet, to some respect, I admire that. But at the same time, I talk about in my episode of my podcast entitled Be More Like Elsa, that I was not going to beat myself up if I recorded, say, 10 episodes at a time and then didn't actually feel inspired to record podcasts for a while, and that I may be more aligned to blogging. Because my intention, is to create evergreen content. So that's things like podcasts and blogging, not sort of social media that's here today and gone tomorrow, or is controlled by Mr. Zuckerberg, etc., who actually gets to see it or listen to it, being whatever it is. I like to create evergreen content. And that is like I said, that's a term for content that stays out there, regardless of what I'm doing, to help whoever comes across across it in what I call divine timing. So I could be recording this today, which currently is February 2024. Someone might not find my podcast until, say, 2, 3, 4 years down the line. That's just picking numbers off the top of my head. But like I said earlier, I'm actually listening to Amanda Francis, and I started listening and dropped out. Then I listened to all the regular ones, and something inspired me to go right back to the beginning and listen all the way through. So that's why I was a little bit peeved for some reason why it jumped to the latest episode. And I listened to it, so I needed to manually go back in and get to the beginning again. And because unless somebody came across my show and scrutinised the episodes, they might not even be aware that there was a time gap. When I personally committed to something, and as it usually does, the universe throws me some kind of curveball, I would then feel immense pressure to try to fulfill my commitment to myself more than everyone else, despite unforeseen circumstances, and perhaps try my hardest and my darndest to fulfill it and everything else that I had. And then if I didn't get to fulfill any of those commitments, I would feel a failure, and I'd feel guilty if I didn't manage to keep all my balls flowing, as it were. And I think we self-impose these deadlines to ourselves, and nobody else is really worried about it. So we create and manufacture this unnecessary pressure. And I was doing it myself, like I said, and now I'm just being more like Elsa and letting it go. But there's a whole episode explaining why I did that. So I don't feel guilty about these things anymore. So a bit later in the episode, I will talk about the effects of guilt and or shame. But we'll go into that later, but it's really important. So, like I said, suggest either keep on listening or just dip in and out and come back to it. So I listened to her and her self-imposed commitment to herself despite difficult circumstances. And talking of hustle and flow, I tuned into her words and I felt they were actually out of alignment with what she'd said early in the show. Despite talking about coming out of alignment and flow, she was doing the very thing she was telling people to avoid, because she was talking about hustle and grind and the effect of it and how you can't manifest, and how she now believes that, when you flow with the river kind of thing, what I agree with, things fall into alignment and flow. But then she contradicted herself by telling the listeners of the pressure she put herself under to make sure that she'd got this podcast out as she'd promised people. She said she promised her listeners, but I don't know if her listeners were really that worried about it, or they might not have noticed. And I don't think everybody tunes. We're not that kind of people. I'm of an age now, coming up to 60, that we only had 3 channels, and if we wanted to do a program, we had to sit in front of that program at 9 p.m. on a Friday night to all gather around and watch it, or maybe and then go and talk about it in school the next day. We don't have to do that now. We can pick up and listen to our content whenever we want. So I don't understand, that this need that we create for ourselves, that we have to be there at 9 o'clock on the dot on a Friday AM or something like that. And she, like I said, she was doing the very thing that she was telling people to avoid, and she wasn't even aware of it. But I get it, because I've been there, and I'm not blaming her, because it's completely subconscious. I have found out from personal experience, when the universe throws me curveballs like that, it is trying to tell me or show me something I'm not seeing or hearing, because I'm not allowing myself to take a breath and smell the daisies, as it were. I'm trying to do it all myself, hard work, or level 2 of the 4 levels of consciousness by me, and fix all things myself, forgetting that I'm not alone. So the universe literally has to throw some rocks across my path, because I'm simply not listening to guidance that the universe is trying to tell me, and I'm keeping myself far too busy to hear. So my biggest classic one to this was I had an inspiration many moons ago of what I want, a vision that I seen that I wanted for myself and my life. And circumstances definitely happened in my favour, and planets aligned. I must have been in alignment, and I was so grateful and unaware that this was no accident and what was happening, and my vibe must have been high, and instantaneously things were cropping up in alignment with the thing that I wanted to do. And then I still fell back into level 2 by me, and every time I tried to work on my projects, someone would turn up. They would take up all my spare time and leave me frustrated, until one day the penny dropped. The universe was sending me these people to help them, and I was so clear and focused on what I felt was the right thing for me to do, I was blinkered. I thought I knew more than the universe. So if I can try and explain it, I knew I had a vision, I felt inspired. Then the planets aligned. I got excited thinking, well, this must be right. I must be doing something right. And then I lost focus, as in I tried to do it all myself. And I got so blinkered, I was blocking out the universe, then complaining about all the interruptions. I saw these people were like a hindrance instead of a gift, until one day I felt I would quickly help this person who turned up out of nowhere in the weirdest set of circumstances. Yeah, right. Yeah, of course they did, because there's no accidents. And then I would get back into my income producing tasks, or IPTs, as men usually like to tell us that we have to do and stay focused on above all else, or we will fail. I will tell you in a second why I think that can be absolutely BS now. Well, in fact, what I thought would take a couple of hours actually took me all day. I had spent all day helping this person build her platform online for her passion hobby, free of charge, because I knew she wouldn't leave me alone if I didn't, judging by the consistent messages that they had kept sending me all day the day before, which was a Sunday. The only day out of my brick and mortar business. They just kept they were lovely, but they kept messaging me. I didn't even know this woman until the Saturday afternoon. And then all day Sunday, they kept messaging me. And I thought, right, I'm going to go into my brick and mortar business on the Monday morning, a couple of hours, help them, and then I can get back to my income producing tasks. So just saying that, now I'm still connecting the dots now to the scenario, because it was several years ago now, probably, but it was but it was probably the greatest gift I've ever had to this date. Yeah, so I'm going back to my explanation. What should have taken a couple hours took all day. I had not worked on any of my orders in my business. I'd not worked on what I thought was my passion project. I'd had no customers in my store. Funny that. No orders online, and not earned a penny. Then I shut down my laptop to go home, and another person turned up. Because I was so frustrated it had taken me all day, I decided I might as well, and nobody come in, I might as well just shut up shop and go home. And just as I was about to shut up my laptop, then somebody else turned up out of the blue for more advice and guidance on which way to go with their passions, and should they or could they monetize it online, because they'd just been made redundant. This was around COVID time, when there was a lot of people being laid off of furloughs and things like that. And they were like, shall I just go out and get another job, or do you think it's possible if I can monetize my crafts? So seriously, I was saying in my head, after working all day for this on this project for free for this other lady, and then somebody else comes. But I helped them, and it took over another hour, plus over an hour had passed. And initially, I actually got to admit, all I felt was fear and frustration. I felt fear for the lack of income. I felt stupid. I was to agree to this, and how stupid I was to take so long and not earn any money for myself. I should have been committed to my stuff, and how I was going to create another income stream from what I was trying to create. Sorry, I lost my gist. So, and because something has disturbed me outside. So I should have been committed to my stuff, and And how am I going to create another income stream from what I was trying to create if people keep interrupting me and the frustrations from all those interruptions? And then what initially I thought was going to take about 3 to 4 weeks with my project was actually now 5 months in, and I still hadn't finished. So this was why I was feeling frustration. But then I got home and relaxed, and I actually started to realize that what I'd been doing all day actually felt really, really good. And I'd really, really enjoyed it, and it flowed. And then I received the most beautiful message from the lady I'd helped. She was so grateful and and it was so inspirational. And I started to see through all of my own investments in my time and money and learning to what I thought was to enhance my own business, I'd actually got good at. And not only that, I actually enjoyed it far more than my brick and mortar business now, if I was honest. And I could actually help others who were at the stage that I used to be when I started out. I reiterated to myself, I'm good at this. I'm actually really good at this. But if I'm really good at this, I'm crazy to give all this knowledge away and expertise for free. And then the penny finally dropped. I'm sure trumpets of jubilation went off in heaven at that point. Finally, she gets it. Oh my God. This is why I kept getting all these so-called roadblocks. I was so blinkered on what I thought I was supposed to be doing, and the universe kept presenting me with these people to help them. And it was trying to whisper to me, go this way. This is what you're supposed to be doing. From that moment on, my whole energy changed. From that second on, I actually ditched what I'd been working on for 5 months that I was trying so hard to finish. And I started again from scratch, and I started building all over again, effortlessly, I might add. And ever since then, what I feel to be my true purpose. Helping people, mostly women over 40, see that they can also build a business they love online, doing what they love regardless of age, income or experience, and that they can create and build the foundation for income streams to create financial independence and freedom well into retirement, to make the most of the rest of their life, the best of their lives, and wake up happy, especially into retirement, but ideally before retirement. And that's what I'm passionate about now, because I've just touched on that I'm coming up into my late 50s now, but my life started to change for the best over 40. That's in another podcast, in other places. I won't go into that. But the things that how it's flowed and developed is just beyond my belief. I never imagined that I'd be doing things like this. And learning the tech stuff that I have done with the things that I don't, it's just, it took me a while, but I built that muscle memory. Now it's quick. And I can do it for others if they don't want to do it for themselves, or they don't think they can do it themselves. But I want to be the shining example that it doesn't matter what age you are. We are living in the best time ever to take what we love doing and turn it into an income, or ideally, I believe in multiple income streams, because you could create notebooks, you could actually write books, you could create courses about what you do, you create a club like I have. There's so many different things that you can do. But what I do in my club, the Law of Attraction Lovers Club, I had the inspiration before Christmas in 2023 to actually take what I've learned and simplify it, because I understand that it can be overwhelming, and create little modules of show how people, they can learn how to create, set up an account to create an email list, or how to use YouTube and things like that. I'm just going off on a tangent now, but that's what I feel inspired to do. I see people, and I'm really going on a tangent now, I hadn't planned to say this, but a lovely lady was talking to me in the supermarket the other day, and apologised because she was talking to the previous customer, and she explained that she had a vet's bill for over £1,000, and she didn't know how she was going to pay it. And she said, well, I'm just going to have to work harder and more hours or get another job. but there's only so many hours in a day. And it breaks my heart when I see people can only afford the basics, but then anything like a curveball, you know, a car breaking down, washing machine breaking down, fridge breaking down, pet bill, something like that, they can't afford to, they haven't got the extra resources for it. Or going into stores, maybe they're doing it because they want company, but to see people in their older years that are still working in stores and things like that, maybe like I said, maybe they want the company, but it's necessity, and when they should have retired, they're still working and not enjoying their retirement. I believe there's a way that I can help inspire people to learn to monetize, and I'm also passionate about getting it across that you can start for free. It doesn't cost any money to start. There are ways of starting for free or very, very minimal basic money. And you can do it around your other commitments in small blocks of time, windows of time that you find to do the things that you like to do. You can use those windows of time to gradually, but if you know that you're starting to build up something that you're passionate about with 10 minutes here, 30 minutes there, an hour there, an afternoon there, back to 30 minutes, you will be inspired, because the earlier you start, you can be reassured. You don't have to think about the money straight away. You just think about the enjoyment of it, the skill, the muscle memory, you're doing something that you love. And then gradually, with my help, you will learn then how to create income streams, you know, well into your retirement and beyond, so that you can literally wake up happy doing what you love and loving what you do. So I got off on a tangent then, what I'm passionate about. So, and maybe I was going to say, maybe this dear sweet girl I was listening to was getting her tech difficulties at the very same time that they would normally do their self-imposed commitment to record a podcast episode, because despite their talk of flow and ease, were actually out of alignment with the universe themselves, and that they were not listening to the guidance it was trying to show them, that maybe they should be doing something else at that time, or just learning to go with the flow and not hustle. And maybe it wasn't their time to record a podcast episode that day, and they should have been doing something else. But do a podcast episode next week. I've got loads of content ideas lined up, but I just let go and trust that if my circumstances don't allow it this week because of other commitments, that's absolutely fine. I certainly hadn't intended to tell you all this when I felt inspired to record this episode, but I truly believe that there was a reason for it and a message that I had to get out there. So what actually had inspired me was something they said about negative beliefs. But hey ho, here we are. Like I said, maybe I believe that I was meant to tell you what my passion is and who I'm here to help, etc. I know I talk faster. I talk fast anyway, but I talk extremely fast when I get onto the subject of what I believe my passion project is and my message that I want to get out into the world. So here I am with the flow again. So if I'm honest, what rankled me was the talk of not being able, get this, they said that nobody would be able to achieve anything substantial or successful unless they dig in and uncover the negative beliefs that block in their success. So they were actually saying nobody in this whole planet of 8 billion people were ever going to be able to achieve success if they didn't dig up their negative beliefs. And they were basically given an example, an exercise, how to scrutinize and analyze them. And that if you didn't do this, then, well, you're doomed, basically. And yeah, I get it. Here we go again. I've been there too. I have been told the reason I haven't created substantial, consistent wealth, despite being successful in other areas, is because of underlying negative thoughts and beliefs. And I'm not denying that can be true, and that they are there rumbling away, causing us to subconsciously sabotage our success. Even Ho'oponopono tells us that that is true. And if you are not aware, I am an advanced practitioner in something called Ho'oponopono, which is an ancient art of problem solving, which I'm very aligned to. But it is the digging them up malarkey that rattles my cage now. I physically paid somebody to have unblocking sessions and cord cutting sessions, and I still ended up broke. There is some full-on honesty there from me, Ali, aka the Law of Attraction Lover. Yep, I love the Law of Attraction, and I have manifested lots of cool stuff, including thousands and thousands of pounds, and still had not been able to create massivist sustainable wealth. And maybe you'll be asking yourself, so why should I listen to you? Because I know with 100% faith now, I believe, why it happened, why I didn't, and why I truly believe now I am. Because it wasn't until Ho'oponopono came across my way and other resources, mainly Amanda Francis's book, Rich as Funk, and I will say it's not actually the word funk, it is the other word, left word, so rich as F, and I've already put the link in the show notes, people, because I think everybody needs to get a copy of this book, and more than a little help from Napoleon Hill. And that is why I felt I understand this now, and I am seeing consistent results because I am in harmony with the universe. When I heard and saw more and more about subconscious beliefs sabotaging our success, at a cellular level, I felt it to be true. But as I mentioned, trying to dig them up and hold them to the light wasn't easy for me. And maybe you're listening to this and you have been told that, or you've heard it and you've tried it. And I'm not saying that it was in a painful way for me personally. I just couldn't seem to get to the root of anything, as it were. But at the same time, I think I knew where my negative money mindset had come from, but I wasn't doing any digging. I wasn't seeming to get anywhere. I just felt a bit sort of nothing, a bit blah, sort of no thing really. And sure enough, nothing changed. And patterns repeated. So I felt obviously, well, I'm crap at this sort of thing, if I'm honest. Money would come, and then I would have unexpected expenses like I talked about for other people, and then it would go, and it would come, and it would go. But and I would tell myself, it's not working. I'm not good at this. Maybe I'm just destined to be poor. I'm never going to sort it out. And how shit does that feel, if I'm honest? I felt like a complete failure. Not good, I can tell you. And those kind of feelings ain't serving anyone. In Bruce Lipton's book, another book I highly recommend getting on audiobook or reading, The Biology of Belief, he talks about the effects of negative feelings on our systems, and I didn't want to send that kind of shit around my body, if I'm honest. But here I am, I was still doing it, even though I'd read that book. But if I felt guilt or doubt about anything, that's what I was basically doing. Eckhart Tolle says if we knew the effects of guilt and shame on our bodies, we would never let ourselves feel anything like that again. Or something like that, because I've got to admit I'm paraphrasing. But you get the point. So that's why I'm passionate now about not putting any unnecessary pressure on ourselves or struggling to commit to things when the universe is obviously throwing us obstacles for some reason. I try to remember the negative chemicals I am creating and sending around my body whenever I feel stress, anxiety, fear, doubt, guilt, shame, that they can actually cause disease. And no, I'm not buying that. I'm not buying into that anymore. Then, my friend, while I'm in the midst of launching all that I'd been working on since that fateful penny dropping day, and I only got crickets. That doesn't work well on the system either. But I know that's normal now, and I know what the root of that was and the reason for that. But then the universe actually started to whisper to me. So when I built all of this, modules and basically things, and built my Law of Attraction Lovers Club and been working to it for ages, and then it was like, now what? And the universe told me, do the course. do the course she bought but never got time to do. Well, I have now learned long ago to listen to the voice, as I call it. The voice I used to think that meant I was finally going insane, because I always felt a bit weird and different to everybody else. And I bet it's the voice that you hear too, but like me, were embarrassed to admit you heard. But I know the voice never fails me. And that course was the course that in the beginning to be a Ho'oponopono practitioner. Then my whole world went upside down, but finally made sense to me. I touched on earlier about the 4 levels of consciousness, and that came into my awareness in early 2020. And I felt deep down it made sense to me, and I knew that it was going to have a massive significance to me in the future. But I had to accept that now was not the right time, because the evening I was about to start that year's live version of Marie Forleo's B School, which was something I'd finally got to invest in 2017 when I started my first business just before my 51st birthday, but something I dreamt about since I was a child. Again, no accidents. I received a call. My dad had had a stroke, and then we went into a global pandemic of most of our lifetimes. So remember what I said about roadblocks when we think we have it all figured out and we try to fix it for ourselves? Those were some major curveballs. But now it was all coming together, and maybe because in Ho'opono it said subconscious beliefs we have picked up along the way are constantly playing in the background, and they're stopping us from achieving our dreams, goals and desires, regardless of our hard work and what we have, and that we have to clean them out. But this time it didn't suggest digging them up, which to me, digging suggests dirty hard work, and from previous experience was completely fruitless anyway. It suggested cleaning them out. And cleaning itself sounds far more pleasant an experience, and it is. In Ho'oponopono, cleaning can be achieved by using a simple phrase or prayer. You don't even need to know, and I'll let you get prepared for this. You don't even need to know what your negative beliefs or blocks are. You just keep cleaning anytime you remember to do so. So I know we're all human, but as often as possible, or when we feel anxiety or out of control or a problem, if we remember to do Ho'oponopono cleaning, that's because when we feel like that, there's some subconscious belief or habit going in there. So if that's, even if that's the only time that we can remember to do it, it's better than nothing. Doing Ho'oponopono cleaning combined with the approach to wealth I have gained from Amanda Francis, and that's why I believe hers is the best money mindset book ever, because she approaches money and wealth like no one else I've come across. And what I've learned about fear and faith from Napoleon Hill, and I'm afraid to say because of personal experience, I believe I'm on the best journey of my life to understand how we overcome those blocks and create success. I'm seeing results all the time, and more importantly, I'm feeling better, stronger and more aligned in my faith than I've ever experienced before in my life. And that's why I feel compelled to share what I've experienced and am experiencing, just in case one person hears it and feels cellularly in their body like they know that they and they don't know why, but they know it feels true to them. And this is true, and it's true and real for them, like things have been true and real for me. Because believe me, whenever I felt this way before, maybe not that day, but somewhere down the line, I'm always presented with the fact that it is true whenever I felt that in my soul. And that is always an easier way to follow and not to hustle to achieve your desires and manifest things beyond, even beyond our wildest dreams and expectations. And that is always available. because I've had so much evidence of this, and that when I've studied to be an advanced Ho'oponopono practitioner, even that explained why I felt there was something greater and far better than our level 1 and level 2 way of operating. And that is the levels 3 and 4 in the 4 levels of consciousness. I still have so much to say on this subject, but I will just leave it there for now about that, because that's in other materials and content I've created in podcast episodes and things in the Law of Attraction Lovers Club. But I hope I've managed to convince you at this point that when life throws you curveballs and obstacles, try and stop and ask, what is this trying to teach me? Instead of relentless trying to go on and fix things. And say, what is the universe trying to tell me for my own benefit? And there's no digging up necessary to master your negative beliefs. Just start saying mentally or physically, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. That is the Ho'oponopono prayer. I will repeat that again. So maybe you can pause this podcast and write it down. But it's, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. It can be said in any order, but that's how I personally feel comfortable to say it. Like I said, I've touched more on this and what it means in Ho'opono in other episodes and other content, and in the Law of Attraction Lovers Club. So if you want to go deeper on this and finally create a lifestyle you wake up happy for, why not head over to LOALOVER.club. So that's the LOA lover.club, and check it out. It's really inexpensive anyway, and it comes with a free trial. And before I end on talking of hustle and flow, I've stopped ignoring stopped ignoring myself and tuned into the universe again, and I've actually partnered up with a multimillionaire to utilize the masculine energy of hustle that made them a multimillionaire, but combine it with the feminine energy of flow to best combine what worked for them and apply it with flow and ease. And if you check out the show notes, you can see how you can access Money Freedom Club and the Law of Attraction Lovers Club and get lots and lots and lots and lots of lovely bonuses exclusive to me in the bargain. But you can only get those bonuses if you become a member of MF.club via my link. So why not go and check it out? So the point of today's show and what rattled my cage was, I hope you see my story of thinking that this is what I was supposed to be doing and then getting constant curveballs and roadblocks was because I was not stopping to listen to the guidance from the universe, and because I was going completely down the wrong path, and what I thought were annoyances were actually gifts. So I hope maybe to inspire you that you had obstacles and curveballs, and maybe stop, and instead of being frustrated like I was, ask what gift that is there that is trying to show you and tell you. And that we don't need to make unnecessary commitments to ourselves that are going to cause us unnecessary stress. And I hope I've made you aware, if only briefly, how stress is harmful to our systems, and just to let yourself off the hook, really. Plus, no, we don't need to dig up our beliefs and scrutinize and analyze them to ensure success and avoid failure, or fill our bodies with guilt or shame. We can simply flow with the universe and forgive ourselves by using Ho'oponopono prayer, as I mentioned earlier, often as we consciously can. Why not just give it a go? What have you got to lose? Because I know it changed my life, and it still continues to change my life. And on the subject of IPTs or IPAs, income producing task or income producing activities, this is the masculine energy, and it's very level 2, hard work, hustle, do this to get results eventually. While I cannot deny it gets results via level 2 and mainly for men and that masculine energy, but there is no such thing as time in reality. We humans physically created time to make life more organized and convenient. So why do we put deadlines on it, like in 5 years time, 10 years time, etc.? But if we have a belief to get success and wealth, and that it takes hard work and you have to put in a long hours and sacrifice things and constantly focus on income producing tasks, or you will fail, and it takes time, that's what it will take. If you have that belief, it is just a belief. And from personal experience, I think that way of operating is out of fear. Fear, if we don't keep doing the income producing task consistently, to the detriment of all else, that the money will stop flowing. I believe that is the belief that's behind it. But it is, again, it's just a belief. But if that is what you believe, that is what you will have to do, because the universe is a mirror. And like a genie in a lamp, it will say, your wish is my command. Hard work and hustle, you say? Okay, hard work and hustle it shall be. At some level, they must have had faith in the actions or the IPTs that they would reap rewards. And they felt it in their being, that we talked about before, that if they did A, they would get B. So their faith and their belief yielded the success because they had decided it. But they could have decided it and they could have yielded the results with the faith alone and without the hard work. By flowing with the universe and following inspired action and following those whispers to the soul. Nothing I have had happen to me that has manifested and literally blown my mind ever came from hard work. It came out of nowhere. It came effortlessly and unexpectedly. It came better than I could have expected, and it came effortlessly, usually with no effort on my part. Which scenario would you like to follow? But Ali, you may be saying, but you partnered up with a multi-millionaire man who worked his socks off to achieve this, what he did. So what are you saying? I'm saying it would be stupid not to listen to a person who's created financial freedom and listen and hear them out and see what they did and see if any of it feels good to me or it aligns to me, and then implement it from a place of flow. Tony Robbins says success leaves clues. And if you want to succeed at a particular thing that you are passionate about, surround yourself with people that have already succeeded and learn what works and, more importantly, what doesn't. I truly believe we are moving away from the era of hustle and grind and more into alignment and flow. And as Regan Hillier calls the people that succeed this way are conscious millionaires and even billionaires. So I'm taking what I've learned from Marie Forleo in B School and to be open to everything, because I do tend to shut myself down, and because I was against the hustle and grind kind of thing and more alignment and flow, I was shutting out those opportunities. Now I've decided, I'm following inspired guidance, to marry the two. So that's why I've partnered with a multi-millionaire and the Freedom Money Club and the Money Freedom Club, and I believe that the Money Freedom Club and the Law of Attraction Club can work together perfectly. It's the male and the female, the yin and the yang. It's the best of both worlds. So again, check out the show notes, how to join and get all the extra bonuses. And in summary, I suggest you don't create self-imposed unnecessary commitments to yourself that create stress and dis-ease in the body. Take time to listen to the whispers of the universe, and if you keep hitting speed bumps and getting curveballs, stop and ask, what is this trying to tell me? Am I out of alignment? Am I trying to do everything myself? Am I hustling instead of flowing? Am I supposed to be going in a different direction? The LOA Club is full of tips to help you with things like this, and there's always more on the way. And finally, please, 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 please don't feel the need to dig up anything. Just mentally repeat, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. Thank you for taking the time to listen today. I hope it has helped in some way. Maybe take some time to listen to other episodes. And if you did like it or you found it helpful, please tell someone else that you think that might benefit from listening to it. And I would absolutely love, love, love if you could hit the subscribe button, because I'm on a mission to help as many people as possible wake up happy, doing what they love and loving what they do in the most blissful, flowy way possible. I know my mission and my purpose, and I'm only just getting started, and I'm excited to share it with you with what is coming next. So until next time, fabulous. Have a fabulous day, week, month, year, and life.